Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blank and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the GSMC television podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jennifer, and today we are going to be discussing the season finale of a brand new series, well, brand new last year, Snowpiercer. It is based off of the 2013 film, also called Snowpiercer. It is a great series. I really enjoy it. Basically, the plot is that in the future, mankind has screwed up the weather so badly with our pollution, our politics, our fighting. Everything is screwed up the earth so badly that if you go outside, you freeze to death. That's right, it's winter everywhere. Winter has come to stay, basically. So, in order to save the human race, Mr. Wilfred, who owns this train, built a really, really big train to house the humanity that he believed deserved to be saved. 1,035 cars. That's a long train, but only a select few people got to be on the train. And what do you think the other people had to do? They froze to death. In order for people who weren't rich enough to get onto the train, they had to either be like a crew member or a tailie, which is basically someone who got on the train illegally without a ticket. You ask me, there shouldn't have even been something like that. You shouldn't pay for something like that. This is saving humanity, for goodness sake. In season 1, basically, we got to find out what the life of the train was like. We got to see how the tailies live, which are the people, as I mentioned before, the poverty people who snuck onto the train. They were wanting a revolution so that they could have the right to live, the right to better food, the right to be considered as more than just a nuisance, because that's what they were considered. In the first season, everybody was separated into fractions. First class, second class, third class, tailie. It's like, why would you do that? If Snowpiercer is the last remnants of humanity, then wouldn't it be better to have everybody be equal? This is the way that Wilfred saw it. But here's the kicker. Wilfred wasn't even on the train because Melanie, one of his head engineers, basically tricked him. She got onto the train and left without him and was putting up the facade that he was still on the train by using recorded messages of him to fool the people that he was still there. She did it because she could see how much of a corrupt white politician this man was, who only cared about himself, money, and how much power the train gave him. In order to do this, she left her daughter, didn't want to do it, but her daughter Alex was supposedly one of the people that they lost to the cold. It is a great series, and that was just season 1. All they did was basically show off the characters and the revolution that was started by Langdon, who was like the leader of the... Well, he's the leader of the tailies. And like I said, all the tailies want is to be equal. Not to be forced to eat each other or just basically eat the scraps that they're given. And there are children that are tailies. And that's just awful. And if the tailies go out of line, one of the things that they did was freeze their hand and then cut it off. That was something we got to see in season 1. Like I said, the show is not for children. It's not for the faint of heart. It is violent, graphic, but in a way, it is honest. If we don't start paying attention to the environment, this could happen. I mean, we already have a big amount of rainfall this year. Snow, ironically, the big snowfall that basically took out Texas for so long is a good example of what we are doing to the planet. And that's just season 1. In season 2, after the revolution and everybody basically got what they wanted, the tailies are no longer considered like garbage. They're all considered one train. We find out that Wilfred did survive. And so did Alex. They were on another train, which was basically like the backup train called Big Alice. Big Alice has connected with Snowpiercer, and now basically they're like holding them hostage, in a way. But everybody has managed to get the upper hand of Wilfred at the middle of the season, which was good. And also, Melanie discovered that it's snowing outside. Not just frozen weather that you can't go out in. It's snowing, which means that the weather is changing itself. So, maybe this means after 7 years, they could inhabit the world outside of the train. Wilfred doesn't want this. He wants the power of the train. He has no intention of going back for Melody, because he basically left the train to try and see if they could repopulate the earth. And we know it. He has done everything he can just to silence those who do not cultivate him like a religious cult. Oh, all hail Wilfred. To a point where he hired people to attack some of the tailies. And I mean seriously attack them by cutting off their fingers so that they can create a W. Oh, a W in honor of awesomeness that is Wilfred. Ugh, I hate this man. He's awful. Even though Melanie was creating a web of lies about him being alive, she saved the train. And now that he's back, he did not save the train. So, that is enough of basically the plot. And now, to get into what happened last episode. Basically, in the last episode, we saw Wilfred save the engine, even though we all know he was the one who corrupted the engine by making it be almost completely going off. He got his cult members to do it. He even has this one character who can, like, go out into the snow because he's, like, biologically engineered him and stuff to be able to go out there and handle it. And so now that he saved the train, everybody wants him to lead the train. So Langdon, who was leading the train before, has been sentenced to the compost to basically show off that Mr. Wilfred's in charge and all hope is lost. And he's shown a puppet show revealing that Melanie's dead. He does not plan to go after and save her. And everybody that doesn't believe in him, well, they get either drawered or sent to the compost. Because that's where Langton is. And the drawer area is where Roche is and his family. Just because they were head police officers and they were like thinking that he's corrupt and evil and stupid, which he is. And now, Ruth was one of the characters that really worshipped Mr. Wilfred before she met him. She was head of the department of, hospitality. And he told her that you could have the job of being head of hospitality because now that Snowpiercer and Big Alice are together, they need someone who's really in charge. All she had to do was say they're not going to go back for Melanie. She's like, I can't do that. So where does she get sent? To compost with Langton. Honestly, this does not look good. We've got Langton and Ruth inside of the compost. Roche and his family in drawers. We've got a carnival, basically to sell the fact that, oh, Wilfred has saved us all, and Melanie is just dead. We shouldn't even go back for her. Alex is now in the brig because she basically said that, I knew you weren't going to go after my mom, and I'm going to rebel, even though she's a big, awesome engineer, and Wilfred knows that he needs her. And we've also got one of the other engineers, Harvey, working on Big Alice, and the other engineer, see there's two engineers. There's Javier, who's now on Big Alice, and then there's Bennett Knox, who is still on Snowpiercer. And you would think that this is a sign that everybody's given up because of the fact that, well, Mr. Jerkwad has basically won through murdering people. Oh yes, there were brakemen that were so loyal to him, but he paid people to kill those brakemen so that he could frame the tailies for it when they didn't do it at all. The tailies have been attacked, and Langton and Ruth are both in the compost area. Roche and his family are being drawered, which basically means they're put on ice. If you're in space and it's a long voyage in the movies and stuff, you're put on ice where you sleep and you're frozen and stuff, but you're still alive. But that's no way to live. You can't really do much. And, well, it's just awful. Now, Langton has still some people on his side. Of course, Ruth's, obviously. We've got, Josie, who's his partner. She got horribly frozen in the last one. Her hand and everything. We thought she got 3rd degree frostbite. But the only good thing Wilfred has ever done is he's got these scientists that have this goop. If you put it on yourself, you get new skin to help you get better and stuff, but it's at a cost. Now she can go outside and be able to withstand the cold, but that can only mean one thing, that he wants to use her. Another character that is very important is Zara, who is another one of Langton's girls. She's pregnant. They haven't had a pregnant person on Snowpiercer in years. So this is for the future. This could be good information. But we don't know if it's going to last or anything, because now that Mr. Wilfred is in charge, anything can happen. So that's basically where the first episode of the 2-parter season finale ended, with everything being horrible. But there was a ray of hope. Because Javier heard Melanie on the speaker. She made contact. Wilfred didn't hear about it. But Langton and Ruth know. And they're going to make themselves find a way to get free. Everything's going to turn out good. I just know it. So, that is what I'm going to leave you with before we go to commercial. After commercial, we will talk about next episode. I'm not going to reveal how it ends, but I hope that you will watch all of season 1 and 2 after this presentation is over. Another thing that I definitely want to talk about is the cast, because everybody in this show has made it fantastic and they deserve their credit. But until then, hope you all enjoy the commercials. See you later.
Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Television Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer. Previously, we were discussing Snowpiercer's Part 1 of its season finale. Now, we will discuss Part 2. And what a Part 2 it was. I was on the edge of my seat. I was completely just worried. Are they going to survive? Is Melanie going to be rescued? Is their coup going to work? Well, let's see. Okay, so basically, we've got Ruth and Langton are able to escape their compost prison by, well, kind of just using a rope to get a hold of their jailer who gives them food and stuff. And then they use this glass that Langton had gotten to pierce him right in the arm. So that makes him be knocked out and they escape. When they escape, they find Alex is held up in the brig and they're like, well, she's definitely coming with us because she told them about a secret room that gets them into, well, Wilfred's, castle, as Ruth put it, which is where the engine is on Big Alice. They go in this room and use it so that they can get Harvey's area under control. They kill his guards and release him from basically Wilfred's hostage situation so that they can take one engine out. They've taken the engine of Big Alice out. And now they are going to try and get a hold of Snowpiercer's engine so that they can make the turn and pick up Melanie. Of course, we shouldn't worry too much because we've got both engineers on their side. They just need to get to a point where they don't have these guards on them. We've already gotten Javier's out of the picture. Now we need Bennett's out of the picture. Well, Bennett's was a bit harder to get out of the picture because, well, his guard, this black lady, had lots of training and she was hard to defeat, but he did it. And in the process, they made the turn so they can do the pickup. Meanwhile, Alex has made it out of her cell to basically, well, bring up the facade that she has believed in Wilfred's way. She believes that he is the one they should, accommodate, which is a lie. And unfortunately for us, Wilfred did notice the fact that they were on the other track to pick up Melanie, because you could feel the difference. Well, the track is kind of old track, so it kind of was unsteady. They made up the excuse that it was basically just avalanche debris, but he knew. Wilfred knew. So, as a result, what he did was he breached the engine where Harvey is. This is after Langdon and Ruth had gotten back onto Snowpiercer through use of the carnival. Your own cultivating carnival used against you, idiot. Anyway, so they got through, and this was hard to watch, but Harvey got eaten by the neck by a dog. After he got horribly beaten up, Wilfred sicked his dog on Harvey. So, he's obviously dead. And because of that, Wilfred got a hold of the engine of Big Alice and sped up so that basically they would leave Melanie. And they did leave her. They drove right past her. But Melanie got to see Alex in the window, and so now what? They have to go with Plan B. Plan B is to take the head off of Snowpiercer, which basically means separate one area of train with another area. This will be crippling for Snowpiercer. 1,034 trains will now be less because they're going to take off the head and so that they can have 10 train cars. And they'll be okay because they're making the cultivation that Alice will still have its own engine and it will be okay. But this means that the only way to do so is they have to take a hostage. Now, the person that they take hostage with is our head of the night car, who is basically the biggest jerk ever. I do not like this character at all. Miss Audrey. Miss Audrey was supposed to be over there to help Snowpiercer get an edge with Mr. Wilfred, but she completely went against that plan and helped Mr. Wilfred because she is completely changed. She's how he chose to save me when I had cut my wrist at his order. So I must worship him! Worship him! Ugh! So I don't care at all what happens to her. She is awful character. So, we got Bess, Miss Audrey as our hostage, and we have Zara, who is going to remain on Snowpiercer because of the fact that, she doesn't trust this idea with the baby, which I understand. It's dangerous. Plus, they need someone on the inside. And so they get to the point with the cars and stuff, and everybody is there. They've also got Bennett. We're all ready with Alex to separate this car and everything, and there's only one way to do it. They have to let the cold be pierced into the aquarium. Make it so that the aquarium freezes over, bam! Separates Snowpiercer's 10 cars from the other cars that Big Alice is now driving. So they've successfully initiated Plan B. Now they're going to go back for Melanie. Is she there, though? Not telling. Because I want you all to watch this series. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to be ready for season 3! Because I am ready! It'll be awesome. Because even though we don't know if Melody survived, well, I do, but you don't. They still have to get back all their people and just get rid of Wilfred altogether. So that's basically what season 3 is going to be all about. Now, I have to talk about these amazing actors. Okay, so Langton is played by David Diggs. An amazing, awesome black man that definitely deserves praise for being one of the main protagonists. Melanie is played by Jennifer Connelly, and she is an amazing character. I loved her fierceness, her strength, and her belief in the science. And in previous episodes, she was using rats to survive, basically, so that she could, survive all those days, months, basically, to get the science they needed. Mr. Wilfred is played by Sean Bain, and he's playing a corrupt politician that only cares about himself, but I am giving my props to the actor. He did a great job. Allison White plays Ruth. I didn't like her character at first because she was worshipping Wilfred and all that stuff, but she has come into her own, and I love her character. She is now left on Big Alice, and she's going to help them. I just know it. And of course, Zara's character, who is played by Chanel Vad, she's also going to be there to help. Even if she's pregnant, and I hope to God her child survives, she's still going to make it. Now, another character that I didn't talk that much about because, she was more of a big thing in season, 1. LJ, she was, the daughter of one of the first classers, and she was making all kinds of trouble in season 1. She's played by Annalise Basso, and she's a good character, but she's also a antagonist, cult member stuff. We will miss you, Javier. We will miss you, Harvey. We will. Played by Roberto Urbina. Great character. We will miss you. Alex is played by Rona Balachard. She and Mr. Wilfred are basically our newest characters in this season, and bravo to them. They have been amazing characters. Josie did her part, and she is played by Katie McGuinness. And we would not have succeeded without Josie, so props. She lost her hand in season 1 and got so much first-degree frostburn, but she redeemed herself and made an awesome character in this season. Bess, our policewoman, played by Mickey Sumner. Sumner, you did a great job. Props to you. Wonderful police work. Miss Audrey, what can I say? You have fallen into the cultness, and it's just sad. But your actress, Lena Hall, props. Bennett Knox, good engineer. Played by Ida Goldberg. I like the Goldbergs on ABC. Sam Roche, we didn't see you in this particular episode, but I know you'll be okay. You're played by Mike O'Malley. And that's it for all the important characters. Without characters like this, Snowpiercer wouldn't be as great a series as it is. You see, that's what it takes to make a great series. Plot. fantastic plot that hangs a bit of truth in there. Because that is what Snowpiercer has. A bit of truth. And great actors. Not just actors. We've also got the directors. The special effects people. The camera workers. Everybody that has a hand in making these fantastical cars. We got the aquarium car. The night car. We got the engineers. We got Wilfred's own little palace engineer part. We got to see a lot of Big Alice in this. We've got the scientist, who basically, well, they patched Wilfred up, so he's still alive, even after Alex cut him. But hey, the scientist helped out our amazing Josie, so I'm not going to be mad at the scientist. Just going to save all my anger for Mr. Wilfred. So, great series on TNT. If it wasn't for the film in 2013, directed by Bong Joon-ho, we would not have it. We wouldn't even have it anymore if it wasn't for the 1982 French graphic novel written by Les Trapezziga, from which the film was adapted by Jacques Loeb, Benjamin Lagarde, and Jean-Marc Rochette. This is an amazing series that deserves our props. Now, we're going to go to break. In our next segment, we will discuss another new series having its season finale, and that series is on the Science Fiction Channel, and it's called Resident Alien. Until then, see you later.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Television Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer, and now we have just gotten done discussing Snowpiercer, a series about a time when the Earth is in peril. So now we will discuss another series that has the Earth in peril, but not by humans' interference. Oh no, this time it's alien interference. And our aliens are from outer space, and they are in the show Resident Alien, a brand new science fiction channel show. It has been running for the past couple of weeks, and it's about to have its season finale, but we will discuss that in a few. For now, we're talking about the episode that came before the season finale, and what an episode it was. Amazing. Absolutely nostalgic for people like me who love to go to conventions. That's right, I'm a bit of a nerd. I have been to my share of anime conventions, Walking Dead conventions, Supernatural conventions, and also, I have a dream to go to Comic-Con one day. But, unfortunately, right now, because of the pandemic, no one can go to any convention. So, seeing this alien convention on Resident Alien was completely nostalgic, and I miss you, Comic-Cons! I miss you so much! But that is what our alien did today. See, in the episode before this episode, he had finally gotten his device, but it's broken now. Which, on a side note, is actually a good thing because this device is created by his race to wipe out all of humanity. Because they believe that we have screwed up our planet so much that we do not deserve to live, and they are trying to save the Earth by destroying humanity. Oh god. Have we fallen that bad? I mean, this is just a thought about from a show, but if there are aliens, and they do think that we are screwing up the planet, we're in trouble. Because they're kind of right. Global warming and pollution and not even treating each other kindly. I mean, I still see people without masks on right now, and that's not helping anyone. And yet we are so selfish and pig-headed that we don't see it. But that is off topic. Anyway, so he went to the convention so he can try and find a piece, like a little tracking device that aliens put inside of victims that they have acquired by abduction. And this is supposedly going to help him fix his device. And I'm like, no, you can't fix your device. I was hoping that all of his experiences throughout the season would make him see that he does not need to destroy the planet, that humanity is worth saving and teaching, not destroying. But he's still stubborn in his ways and thinks that we need to be destroyed because of the evidence. So the whole episode is about him trying to find a person who actually did get abducted and using them to get their planter chip so he can fix his device. On a side note, other parts of the episode is where other characters are finally getting the recognition they deserve. You see, there was a murder of the town doctor in Patience, Colorado. That's where this whole series takes place. So the sheriff was actually trying to figure out if the town doctor had actually been murdered or if it was just death. His name is Sheriff Mike Thompson, and he has a deputy who is named Deputy Liv Baker. And they are a wonderful team, but they have their flaws, because Mike is one of those characters who's like, I am the sheriff, you're the deputy, so therefore I outrank you, so I don't have to really listen to you. So I got really annoyed with his attitude and considered Liv enough to quit her job. Even though, later on in the episode, Mike figures out that because of Liv's crime board, he found out who murdered the town doctor. Turned out to be the town doctor's cheating wife. Poor town doctor. It's a story as old as time itself. The cheating wife always does it. But the point is that he realized he made a mistake, and he went to karaoke night, and they both sang Wind Beneath My Wings, and it was an amazing apology where he realized that he was an idiot, and she took back her job as being the deputy. So beautiful! So needed! Now I kind of ship the two of them. Meanwhile, our other main character, D. Archie Bloom, who runs she runs like a bar inside of the town, and, well, her, Harry, and the other character, Asta, were all, like, they fell into a canyon, kind of iceberg, when they went after Harry because he was trying to find his device. And D. Archie, she saved Asta and Harry by getting up to the top of the glacier and getting help. But Harry and Asta are too into their whole convention thing to to really be around to thank her. And so she's getting drunk and kind of like having her own bit of a pity thing. So there's that part of the story. But she still doesn't even know that Harry is an alien. Asta just found out because Harry was close to death while they were deep down in the canyon. And when you're close to death, your alien disguise kind of disintegrates. So because of that, well, Asta's having mixed feelings. She's like, should I trust Harry? Because Harry says that his device is like a radio so he can contact his people. But we all know it's really a device to kill all of humanity. So she's wondering, should I trust Harry? And Harry never actually told Asta that, oh, I took the place of Harry, the real Harry Vanderspiel. And when I took that place, I, killed him. And when I killed him, and he washed back up on shore, I put him inside of my freezer, and I locked it. Not exactly the best idea to lock it and put it inside your freezer. But, yeah. Aliens don't always think right. Anyway, so because of that, we're having to figure out all these side stuff on the fly. Now, there's also another bit of knowledge. Normally, no one can see through Harry's disguise unless they have a specific DNA blood type, which this child in the series called Max Harthrob, the son of the town mayor, he can see him. So, that's been a problem for Harry. At first he thought maybe he should murder Max, but then Max's adorable little friend, who I really do love in the series, she's this adorable little girl from school, and her name is Sahar Padaski, and she suggested that they have a truce instead of both of them trying to rip each other's necks off. And that's really cute. But there's still problems, because they're alien hunters. First, there's an alien hunter that can see through his disguise at the convention, which he uses to get the device from. So he does have the part of the device he needs. He comes out of that alive, but he doesn't know that there are 2 alien hunters from the government that are looking for him. We have this one alien hunter, and her name is Lisa Casper. And we have this other alien hunter whose name is David Logan. And they're both disguised as being a couple, and they interviewed Max's parents, and she found a bit of, alien technology that Max had found, and she took it. So that's where it all ends this episode. Our alien has the part of his device they need to destroy all mankind. Our alien hunters have the proof they need to find out that the alien is close. Our sheriff and our deputy are together, as they should be, back to being partners that work together to destroy and arrest those who are evil, not working, but having one of them being disrespected because she is a lower rank than the man. No, this time he better behave, or else I'm gonna be mad at him throughout the rest of the series. He has to learn from his mistakes and respect her. And the final bit of information that happened in the previous episode was Bloom found the body inside the freezer! This is why I said don't keep your dead bodies in a freezer. Just burn them, man. Just burn them. Anyway, so that is an issue. All this happened in Resident Alien, and it's just building up. Completely building up for the next episode. And we don't know how this is going to affect the future of the series. Not to mention, Asta was like, she was talking to another one of the alien convention people, and he's like, he heard her say, as being like one of the only nice people up there that walked up about talking about their alien experiences. They all said that the aliens were monsters and coming to destroy us all. But she said that she trusts Harry and thinks that Harry is a good alien. Well, then this guy comes up to her and says, well, your alien might be a Christopher Columbus. In other words, when Christopher Columbus first came to America, he promised peace and love and wonderful things for the Native Americans, but what happened? All the Native Americans got was destruction, disease, and thievery of their things. So, that is what he is saying, that Harry could be a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's not wrong. I have been trying my whole time of viewing this series to think that Harry could change, but every time I think maybe he could learn that humanity's worth saving, he gets that look in his eye and he's like, I am excited to destroy humanity. Everything must be destroyed. And I'm like, but haven't you noticed? You've seen so many different people in this series that are kind and decent. Heck, Asta saved your life by cutting off your leg that could have infected you. Every person that you've seen in this series has been kind and nice once they got to know you. Why can't you just let humanity live or teach us to change our ways? Be a symbol of life and kindness. But no, that is not the case. Anyway, that was the previous episode that we just had, and now we are soon going to have the season finale. And I, for one, am excited and looking forward to it. I wonder what is going to happen. Will our alien finally change his mind, or will he destroy all of humanity? We're going to find out in the season finale. I personally think that something's going to happen to him that's going to change his whole opinion of humanity, and he's going to instead work to save humanity in the next season rather than destroy it. That is my opinion. That is what I hope for. Or his device will just get destroyed, or it could be captured. It's all up in the air. So, until we find that out, I hope you all enjoy the commercial break. Decide to watch this podcast and this amazing series. Until then, have a good day and see you in a few.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Television Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer. Before the break, we were discussing Resident Aliens episode before its season finale, and now we will discuss its season finale after we are done talking about the cast and crew of this amazing show. Because like I said when I was talking about Snowpiercer, without the cast and crew of these great shows, we wouldn't have the great shows. Alright, so, let's first discuss some background about the series. Resident Alien is an American science fiction mystery comedy drama television series based on the comic book of the same name by Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse. It premiered January 27th, 2021 on the Science Fiction Channel. And in March 2021, the series was renewed for a second season! And it is warranted, because it was a great season finale. The cast did a fantastic job, with Alan Tudyk as Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel, or our alien, as also you could say about it. Sarah Tomko as Asta 12trees. Great character. She is the alien's reason for... Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But she is the girl that went in with the convention, and she's the girl that we love. And I like her character a lot. And Corey Reynolds is Mike Thompson. In other words, the sheriff. He has improved so much throughout the series. At first he was just a pompous jerk that I didn't really like, but now I'm starting to warm up to him. Especially after the way he acted in the newest episode. I'll get to that later, though. Alice Wetterlund is Darcy Bloom, the town bar owner. She's also been a great character this episode. Very amazing. Best friend of Asta. She deserves her praise. And I didn't mention this in the last part, but she was in an accident in the Olympics and lost her ability to go skiing and stuff, and that's given her a sense of, not being as good as she used to be. Anyway, and then we got Levi Feherler as Ben Hawthorne, the town mayor. He's kind of a bit of a weenie in the series, but he got awesome in this episode. Judah Prue is, he's Max Hawthorne, the only one who knows that, at first he was the only one that knew that Harry was an alien because he had the DNA so he could see through the alien's disguise. And then we got Elizabeth Bone, who plays Deputy Sheriff Liv Baker. She's always been a great character. I love her. Love her. And then we got Ben Cott as Jimmy, Asta's abusive ex-husband. You see, Asta has her own baggage. Basically, she had a daughter named Jay, and she was really young, so she was convinced by Jimmy to give her up for adoption. But ever since then, she's been kind of watching Jay, making sure she's doing okay. And Jay found out recently about that fact. So she's trying to figure out how to cope with that. Meredith Garrison, as Kate Hawthorne, the mayor's wife, is a school teacher, and she's a great character. And then we got, finally, Grace Lee Ard-Rinke as Saraz, which is basically the little girl who is Max's best friend. And that's... Also, we got Kalela Rain, who plays, basically, Jay. And as I said, she's an important character, especially in this episode. So, now that we talked about the amazing cast, let's get into the episode. So, this episode is entitled Heroes of Patience. It basically starts out with Harry finally having his device ready to destroy all of humanity. And he's stalling. Because he thinks that he can handle destroying all of humanity, but he thinks he also can't handle it. Because he's like, should I really do this? At first, his excuse is that I am hungry. I can't destroy all of humanity on an empty stomach. So he goes out and buys pizza. A very human quality. And as you recall in my last recording, I said that Darcy found Harry's dead body in the freezer. She called up the police, had them come up to the front, but then they see that Harry's alive, so they're like thinking she's crazy. And she's thinking she's crazy throughout this entire episode too. But that's on a side note. The main point is that Harry's having second thoughts about if he should destroy all of humanity. Which he should. He's had experiences with good people this entire series. Of course there are bad people that he pointed out that hunt and kill just to make themselves feel no longer small. See, there's a lot of times when Harry goes into inner monologues. So after he gets the pizza and he's like, now that I have my pizza, I can destroy all of humanity with a clear head. Nothing is stopping me. And he had a lot of pizza. And so he's about to destroy all of humanity, but then he's like, I should test my device first. So he gets out the body of Harry, which he had hidden in the upper roof after he found out that Darcy had seen it. And this has happened before in the series. The corpse of the real Harry came to life and kind of tells Harry that you can't do this. You killed me and took me away from my beloved Isabel, which was his wife. And you did that. When you did that, not only did you kill me, you killed her. Emotionally. And when Isabel did leave the alien Harry, he felt the rejection, he felt the sadness, but the dead Harry's like, that's not the same thing. So, we just have to figure out, he's like, I am not afraid to kill humanity. I will do this right now. So he pushes the button and it destroys Harry's body. No longer can he be accused of killing Harry because now the body's gone. But, meanwhile, Asta approached Darcy and, well, she found out that Darcy saw Harry's body and she's like, maybe I should second guess Harry's motivations and stuff. Something is going on. In the meantime, Max knows that the alien hunters are in his room. And so him and Zara are like trying to catch the alien hunters in the act. They put the phone underneath their car so they could track them. And they also are trying to make it so that Harry knows that they're after him. But they get to Asta too late because she already talks to Harry and she's mad at Harry for killing the real Harry. And to a point where she like says, we are no longer friends. I hate you for what you did. You are not human. And she like basically leaves. And this rejection hurts him because he realized that the only reason he hesitates to use his device is because of Asta. He loves her. And since he feels that rejection, he's like, I don't like it here anymore. I don't care if the device is gonna kill me too because I've become more human. Because when he touched it after it destroyed Harry's body, it burnt his finger. So he's going to activate the device, giving 90 minutes for everyone to live. And then he's going to throw it onto Earth so it doesn't kill him with his ship and stuff. Basically, he has to get his ship back from the alien hunters. This is where I really like this episode for the differences that the humans do. We've got basically the cops are getting along better because Mike did the amazing thing of getting the coffee maker and he's respecting his deputy now. And Max's parents went all out crazy on the alien hunters when the alien hunters had, like, they'd taken the kids hostage to try and convince them to tell them where is the alien. So the parents, they went all out crazy on the alien hunters. They banged on their heads with pots, and it was very funny to watch. But I love Zara's comment. She's like, "You two are like Black Widow and Daredevil." It was amazingly funny. But it's good because the female alien hunter, Sarah, was going to kill the kids and the mother. So, yeah, they had every right to attack the alien hunters. But the alien hunters told them important information that Harry's going to kill them all. And they told the alien hunters that the town doctor was the alien, and they took the real town doctor. So, that's going to be awkward into Season 2. Another thing that'll probably be important in Season 2 will be the fact that Jay and Darcy have developed a bond because Jay went to Darcy telling her that Asta is her mom, and they went all out funny on her dad telling Jimmy that if you go near Asta, I will kill you. That was what Jay said, and it was funny. And they also took out the brakes of his car, and his car rolled down the hill, so it's like, that's funny. Now I hope that Jay and Asta can really talk about their feelings. If Harry doesn't destroy humanity, because we still have that problem. So, Harry is now set on destroying all of humanity. He's set on it, and he gets a hold of his ship from the alien hunters, and that's where I'm going to leave you. You have to watch to find out if he does go through with it. And he has every intention of going through with it because Asta insulted him. He doesn't feel love for humanity anymore. Well, that's what he keeps trying to tell himself. But, as I've said multiple times, being around humanity has changed him. He's not the same alien he was when he first came to Earth, when he first killed Harry. Harry kind of attacked first, but what would you do when you saw an alien come into your house? Kind of disturbing. Either way, he's not the same, and I don't think he's going to do it. I think that everything will be okay. And I hope that my words will make you all want to go watch Snowpiercer and Resident Alien, because they are amazing. They are both going to have Season 2s, and, well, in Snowpiercer's case, it's a Season 3. But the point is that they're going to continue, and you need to be ready for the new seasons. I know I am. I'm excited, I'm happy, and I'm ready for new episodes. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode and look forward to next week. We will be discussing cartoons, so we will be on a lighter note, because I realize that basically all of my shows have been about drastic, scary stuff. So now it's time to go to a lighter note. Until then, have a good week, like and subscribe, and make sure to check these shows out. Every time that I review a new series, I hope you all enjoy and try them because they deserve the recognition. So, have a good week and come back for more next week when we talk about cartoons. Bye!
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Television Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies, movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.